if you're looking for manual breast pump options, these are the two I've tried that I'm going to compare and contrast. These are Haakaa. The first one is their actual, what they call pump. Now, pump is a strong word because it's more suction than anything. And the second one is the Ladybug catcher. This is not actually a pump. There is a small amount of suction, but it's not meant to pump or extract breast milk. Rather, it's catching it. And then I have the Medela hand pump. I am missing the base. I don't know what I did with it. But these are the two primary brands I have tried and I suggest. Now, if you're a mom in the beginning of your breastfeeding journey, I know it's really confusing. There's a lot of information out there. These are just great to put on your registry, nice to have. I actually would say they're must-haves in addition to your electric breast pump, whether that's a wearable breast pump or a breast pump tied to a wall. These are going to help you in different ways. So I'll go over those for you. When you start breastfeeding, especially if this is your first time, at first you're going to have some kind of engorgement, right? And this happened with me because I kept increasing my supply and then decreasing my supply and I'd become engorged. And if you want to collect that milk and not waste it, the Ladybug Haakaa is perfect. So this isn't a pump. It doesn't cause you to produce more milk and it doesn't draw the milk out. Rather, it catches it in your bra. So I would wear this if we were going to an event, out of the house, or at night when I was sleeping in case the baby slept 4 or 5 hours and I wanted to not waste my milk. You place this on your breast and it will slightly suction to it. You draw the nipple in this hole and it will collect any milk that is lost due to, pressure being applied to your breast or just engorgement. I didn't use these in my entire breastfeeding journey. They kind of just took a place at the beginning and the end as I'm weaning again. They, save your clothes. They save you from sometimes embarrassment and your bed sheets from soaking. So they're a nice to have. I would say for me, it was a must have. But I think everyone's opinion on the Ladybug Haakaa might be a little bit different. Then more importantly, I think than the Ladybug Haakaa is this Haakaa. So this might look a little intimidating at first, but this Haakaa is really great because it is going to extract that milk for you. So some women have really strong letdowns when they're breastfeeding on one breast and the other breast releases milk. That was not the story for me. You can use either of these. However, this one is going to potentially, in theory, help your milk supply. I don't know how true that is. In my experience, I think it helped me. This was my go-to. My lactation consultant told me, you put this on, you wear it, and it's like you're telling your breast, thank you, more please, because of the constant suction. So there are 2 ways to apply this to your breast. I will demonstrate with a ball in a second, but the first one is to squeeze here and insert your breast and nipple into this, and then release. And then the version I use is you're going to fold back this flange like so, squeeze it so it's flat, and then insert, and then you are going to, it's harder to do than without your breast in it than it looks. It's easier with your breast, and then you're going to release, and it's going to be pinched shut like this. Now, there are some important details. If your breast is all the way in here and it's squashed like this, right? And your breast is touching the silicone, that's not going to feel good. You do not want your nipple touching the edge of this silicone right here. You want it to come kind of all the way through, and there will be another open gap. You don't want it to be in this edge. I don't know how to explain it better. You're just going to have to play with it and just know the nipple should not be touching. Now, I found this to be an extremely useful tool. This is the 4-ounce Haakaa. I think the most I've ever collected at any given time is 3 ounces in this guy. And I could just do dishes, walk around with this, breastfeed on one side, put this on the other. When my baby was small and I was overproducing, this was a great way in the middle of the night to catch that extra ounce without pumping and making any noise. So I really loved this for that. And then the one warning I do have about it is you will at some point knock it off and lose 2 ounces. It's inevitable. It happens. It's not really a flaw of the Haakaa itself. It's just you're going to forget. I fell asleep with this on many, many times and collected milk that way, and it somehow didn't knock it off in my sleep. This Haakaa, the butterfly Haakaa, you're not supposed to use it as like an extraction tool. Like I said, it doesn't have the same suction power, but it still does suction. I recommend just giving it a little boop and then let it suction. Do not push all the way in. You're going to pull way too much of your nipple in that way, and it's actually going to give you like a purple hickey in your boob. I did that once or twice where it was too extreme, and yeah, totally regretted that. So on top of the Ladybug Haakaa, you're going to see there is a plug, and you're going to undo that when you're done using it and use that as the way to pour out your milk. So super convenient design. Now, these two do yellow with use. Breast milk tends to do that to plastic. It yellows it, and it also makes it less clear. You boil these again when you go to clean them, and it will reduce that. It will make them look better. So you'll get a little worried, but it will look better. Well, I'm not going to demo with my breast. I will demo with this ball. So let's close this bad boy. Okay, so you have this guy closed, and you insert it into your bra, nipple into the hole on the back. You're just going to press a little and get some suction, and that's enough suction to keep this on and just mainly catch your milk without any leakage. You do not want to press it all the way in. And see, this is too much. You're going to cause yourself some purple nipple. And then this guy, I'll demo this again for you. Now this is not flesh, and it's not the right size. It's just the only ball I have. So we're going to fold this guy. We're going to pinch, and then you would insert the nipple and then pull back the flange. Yet again, this is way easier on an actual breast. And then release, and then it's going to look like this. And as it collects milk, it is actually going to expand. So I love the Haakaa. I get this for everyone now who doesn't know about it and doesn't put it on their registry. It is my go-to mommy gift because it is so useful in the beginning and in the end of breastfeeding. Even in the middle, there were probably some periods of time I didn't use this. But overall, it's a great tool. If you freak out because the first time or for several times you're using this, you don't get anything out, don't stress out. You're probably not producing enough yet. And once your production comes or increases, you will see that milk coming out. I would use this after each breastfeeding, and that's what worked for me. Or as I was breastfeeding, once I was producing more. I know some women say that this only collects the first milk and not the hind milk. I get the two confused, but the first milk is thinner, the second milk is thicker. This doesn't have the power to collect the thick milk, supposedly. I never had any issues with it. It worked for me in my experience, and I love it. 10 out of 10. Okay, and moving on to the Medela hand pump. I love this more than my Medela electric pump. I have used 2 Medela pumps. Electric pumps. I've used their Symphony, the huge, gigantic, enormous one that they have, the medical grade one in hospitals. And I've also used their Maxi Swing. I will link a video to that. And this guy. I love this. So I had a lot of success with this. And I think sometimes it's more convenient to pack with you on the go when you in the beginning, it's nice when you just gotta let some pressure off because you might be engorged, or because your electric pump, the battery ran out and it's just a backup. This is a great tool all around. I've also thought the pressure, you can control this. So if you ever have any breast issues, I found this as I'm not going to say it's a tool to fix the problem, but you can control the pressure, the power, the suction, all of it manually, which I like being in control. So you're going to see two settings on this. This is going to be your the initial suction mode up top. I've seen some people turn it like this. You don't have to. I think it works just fine like this, and then using the big pump on the bottom. And then this is going to be our actual expression mode. Important to note, there's a little rubber band that's white around this. It's itty bitty microscopic. One time I lost it when I washed it. These will not go together. Also, if something's wet in here, you're not going to get suction, and I don't know why. So if you ever freak out that this isn't working, and you've checked all the obvious, look for this little white rubber band and make sure there's no water in that insert right there. Otherwise, it's not going to work. So you usually squeeze this as fast as you can to start your milk, and then your letdown, and then you're going to squeeze long and slow. It sounds better when you actually have something in there. This is not going to work, I know. But long, slow draws with this guy. And everybody, has a different frequency for that. So you'll figure it out as you go. For flange, you can swap out the flange on this guy. Obviously, one size fits all for this bad boy. This, you can get the flange size that fits you. I've gone through many different ones. And the next important thing is only the Medela cups I've experienced fit on this, but your duck bill on this guy is like the hardest to get on and off, I will say, and it has like this itty bitty piece of plastic. Do not order more of this part. Do yourself a favor and get these instead, and replace this with this after so many months of use. I believe it's 3 months or 2 months of use. I think these have better suction anyway than this guy. What it comes with is fine. That's the Medela design. I just don't think I love it. Hand expressing, I could hand express with this guy faster than an electric pump. I know it sounds dramatic, but I could do 4 or 5 ounces in 5 minutes with this bad boy. So this is a really great tool. I've really loved it. Can't say enough good things about both of these. Just when you're going to get this, just go ahead and get these Legendary Milk duck valves. Instead, they're easier to get in and out of the tool. They have a little silicone bit on them that allows you to pull it on and off. And then I just think they're higher suction, so they go on and off the same way as that guy. Cleaning both of these, obviously this is more pieces. This is easier. So if you're looking for something that's convenient, quick, and fast, that's a little hands-off and not electric, this is like the fastest tool there is. This obviously has more pieces to clean. So one or the other, I would say they're two different pumps for two different purposes. The convenience factor for both of them is just very different. If you're trying to quickly get your milk out and like you're hiding in your car or something during an event, I would go with this one. If you don't want to use an electric, I would go with this guy. If you're walking around the house and you have some time, or your baby's on the opposite breast, I would use this guy because it is hands-free. And then, of course, I would wear this in those early engorgement days or late in breastfeeding when you're trying to decrease your supply to catch milk, or if you have really strong letdowns. So, yeah, let me know what you think and what questions you have in the comments.